ये पॉडकास्ट इंग्लिश में होने वाली है। अगर आप इसको हिंदी में सुनना चाहते हैं तो डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए पहले लिंक को क्लिक कीजिए। इंटरनेट इज़ अ ग्रेट टीचर, बट social media is the worst guide. In this generation of high-speed internet, anything can get viral within some hours, and sometimes a viral misinformation becomes the truth for someone. Let me ask you a simple question. What comes to your mind when you think about feminism? If your answer is equality between men and women, then my friend, there is a probability that you are also being a victim of the so-called social media gurus. Hello my dear fellow psychos, I am your host the DST, and this is your beloved political podcast, Political Psycho. Here we discussed unbiased political angles of day-to-day events happening in the politics, geopolitics and international relations. And today we are going to discuss about feminism, and more precisely about internet feminism. This is a term which I coined when I saw some of the netizens, internet citizens, are talking bullshit about feminism and giving their explanation about it. Like I have given you an example before. Let me tell you a story. I was traveling by the subway or the metro. It was not too crowded, but some people were standing as they didn't get the seat. Luckily, I have the seat, and at the next station, a handicapped person boarded the train, and immediately after he boarded the train, a lady offered him her seat, and the disabled person also accepted the seat. Pretty normal stuff, huh? But then, after a few stations, a woman boarded the train and asked that disabled person or handicapped person to leave his seat, as that seat was reserved for ladies. That disabled person was not literate enough to read the sign, and so he kindly asked that woman to sit on another seat because it was not too easy for him to change the seat on a running train. In this situation, everyone or every human being will try to find another seat. But my friends, you guessed it right, that woman was not a human being or normal human being. She was internet taught feminist. So instead of finding another seat, that woman started making a scene and shouted that it is her right to sit on that seat, of course, because it was reserved for the ladies. And I offered that disabled person my seat because that woman was misbehaving and creating unnecessary drama. And I guessed this is what every human being have done at that time, offering that person a seat. But my friend, that woman was not a human being. She was internet taught feminist. And after all this, I noticed what was written on the sign. It says it is reserved for the ladies, and I feel like that woman who offered that disabled person his seat was a true lady, and a woman who forced him to leave the seat was not a lady. She is just a woman who is inspired by the internet feminism. So now let's talk about this. What is internet feminism? Actually, a lot of people think that women are exploited by men for a very long period of time, which is somehow true, but currently, feminism is all about gender having equal rights and opportunity. Only women have equal rights and opportunity, and internet feminism wants to prove that males and females are equal. So basically, by internet feminism, I mean a group of feminists who are unaware of the real essence of the feminist movements and just think that equal opportunity means equal men and women. And if you are also confused between internet feminism and feminism, let me make it clear to you. Feminist fights for the equal rights of both men and women. But internet feminism wants to prove that men and women are equal, and thus all the things a man can do can be done by a woman, and all the things a woman can do can be done by a man. Both feminism and internet feminism are different, but they have almost same the results. Feminists wants to prove that men and women should be treated equally, but to prove it, they want special privileges that should be given exclusively to women, like reservation for them everywhere, which might be justified back in late 1950s, but now things have changed. Now everyone have same rights and opportunities. But nowadays, the opportunity and privileges given exclusively to women are now being a reason for the inequality. But this time, this inequality is in the favor of women's. To understand it better, let's look at another example. A video was circulating on the internet in which a woman can be seen screaming loudly that whether there is a gentleman on that train who could offer that woman his seat, and bang. We are at a point where the feminist movement backfires. If men and women are equal according to internet feminists, and they should be treated equal and given equal opportunities according to the feminist, then why do they need special privileges? Why do they need the reservations? If you ask these questions to the feminism, they will probably answer you that they want special privileges because our society is male dominant, and to support this argument they will tell you some of the facts that vast majority of the wealth is owned by men, majority of the capital is owned by the men are more literate, women do more unpaid labor, and all these facts, etc. Jordan Peterson answers these facts that these are very tiny proportion of men we are talking about in these facts. He gave some of the facts that a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men, most people in the prisons are men, most homeless persons are men, most victims of the violent crimes are men, most people who commit suicides are men, most people died in the war are men. Where is dominance here precisely? What feminists doing? They take very tiny subtract of hyper successful man and use it to represent the whole structure of the society. Another thing that feminist wants to prove is that females are independent, and this is something that everyone should agree on. Females should be independent if they are not. But when there is a divorce between a man and woman, the same feminist who says that women are independent advocates in the court that husband should pay his wife or his ex-wife a living wage or some part of his property until she finds another man who can take care of her. But isn't this shows the dependency of woman on her ex-husband and her future husband? And if this dependency is justified by feminists in the court, why they call a woman independent? Aren't the two things contradictory? And if women are independent, then why they can't earn a living? Another thing, when you saw a woman smoking on the street or somewhere else, and if you stop that woman from smoking, you probably get two answers. The first answer will be like, yeah, I will stop smoking and I will avoid such things in my future. This is a pretty average answer which should be given, and which every man should give you when you stop them from smoking, right? But second answer you can get is, why I can't smoke? Men also smokes, but nobody stops them. You are stopping me just because I'm a woman. Yeah, you guessed it. This is the answer which will be given by a feminist or by an internet feminist. Why? Because they think you are stopping them just because they are a woman. But I guess everyone knows that smoking is bad for health, irrespective of their gender, and it should be avoided. It is not necessary for women to do the bad things which are done by some bad persons or bad men to look cool, right? But sadly, this is something that some fool feminists are doing, which are also called the internet feminist. Now you might ask, what is wrong with saying men and women are equal? Let me explain to you. Think yourself as a craftsman. You created a table and a chair. Now someone saw your craft and called them equal. You would definitely try to convince that person that they are not equal and they are created for a different purposes. But that person is still not convinced and still calling the two things equal. That person is a feminist, or that person is an internet feminist. Same as the above example, men and women are created differently for different purposes. And by different purposes, I doesn't mean that women are only made to do kitchen stuffs, or I am not saying that the former is more capable than the latter. I mean, men and women are created for different purposes, and when we say that they are both equal, we are denying the whole process of being different. If nature wanted us to be equal, then why it created us different? If we are meant to be equal, then why are both still present? Why not one extinct? You might say that we need both for reproduction, but that's just not the case. There are tons of species on this planet that are capable of being same gender and still can reproduce. Now let's just wrap everything up and think, what do we need actually? Nature has made men and women different for a reason. Both of them have their specific roles in the nature, in the society. We need both males and females for sustainable life. If any of them is not important, then one has already been extinct. Men and women are living in harmony for thousands of years. But today's feminist or internet feminist wants to degrade men so that women can look more independent or advanced, right? They want men to step down so that women can look more important than men. But that's just not the case. Men and women are both important, same important, equal important. Now, they are not equal, but they are equally important for us, both of them. Well, that's all for today, and thank you very much for being here till now. And if you like this mini podcast, then you might want to subscribe our channel and give it a like and share it with the friends or with the internet feminist. Thank you very much.